Hello, in this screencast we're looking at the Level 5 Word Processing Module 5N1358 and the second learning outcome, Toolbar Icons and Functions, is the focus of this screencast, and we're going to be looking at point A2, Hide, Display and Customizing Toolbars. So here we have a blank opened Microsoft Word document. Now, just to point out some of the key terms that are important, this whole area along the top is called the ribbon. So along this area at the top, anything that we can see here, we are going to call this whole area the ribbon. And on the ribbon we have tabs. So at the minute we can see about 8 tabs. There's the Home tab, the Insert tab, Page Layout tab, References tab, and so on. We break that down even further, so on each of the tabs we have what's known as groups, and here we have the clipboard group, and it ends at this line here, and we can see that each of the groups are named at the bottom. So you have the clipboard group, the font group, the paragraph group, and the styles group, and finally editing group. And every tab has all of the commands or buttons on that tab broken down into groups. This one's called the illustrations group. So every button that is on a ribbon, on a tab and in a group is known as a command, and each of these commands have their own special function, and we're going to be looking at these functions later on in this unit. But if you wanted to know what one of them were, if you hover over it for a few seconds, it will show you the name of it. So here we can see the underline command and exactly what it does underneath. So this one underlines the selected text. So bold the selected text, and the italic option will italicize it. And in that box that appears when you hover over any of the commands, you'll also see, if there is one available, a keyboard shortcut. So the keyboard shortcut for turning on and off the italic command is Control plus I. And if we look at bold, it's Control plus B. If we look at the increase and decrease size buttons here, the size of the font, so growing the font and shrinking the font, we can see the Control and less than arrow and the Control and greater than arrow are the keyboard shortcuts there. So if you are unfamiliar with any button on any of the tabs, it's simply a matter of hovering over that tab, finding out its name, reading what it does, and if you want to take it a step further, understanding what the keyboard shortcut does for that particular command. Okay, so when we look at the ribbon, you might want to hide the ribbon, maybe to show the screen or the document size a little bit larger of your document. So to hide and display the whole ribbon, simply a matter of going to this little button here, which minimizes the ribbon, and we can work away without it showing, and to turn the ribbon back on, dropping that arrow down again, and we can see the ribbon. Okay, so just as we can hide and display the ribbon, we can actually turn off and on each of the individual tabs along that ribbon. Okay, to do that, we must go into the options of Microsoft Word. So File and Options, and we're going along to Customize the ribbon. And in the Customize ribbon, I can turn off any of the tabs that are there. For example, the Home tab can be turned off just by turning out the tick here. I'm also going to turn off the Insert tab and the Developer tab. The Developer tab is not normally shown. It's a tab used for creating extra code and macros. Okay, and if I click on OK, we'll see that we no longer have the Home or the Insert or indeed the Developer tab along the top here. To turn those back on again, File, Options, into Customize Ribbon, and we can turn on the ribbons that we want to display. You may also be asked to edit the functions that are available on the Quick Access toolbar. The Quick Access toolbar is this area here below the ribbon. As you can see on this Quick Access toolbar, I have added the navigation pane to be turned off and on, the Home macro, bold font, and the Format paintbrush with some other ones. So to change the Customize toolbar, we drop down and we can turn off and on some of them. So the undo and the redo can be turned off and off like that, or we can turn them back on again just by simply ticking. We can go further than that. We can go into more commands, which will take us into the options, Word options again, and this time we're changing the Quick Access toolbar. We can remove any of the things that are on the menu, and we can also add additional ones in. So here I'm going to add in the cut, and it's been added in. Some of the commands that are not so easily found, not necessarily in the popular commands group, we can go down through. Maybe if we look at something like Smart Art toolbar, some of the tabs in here, like adding in a shape, the commands can be added in just like that. We'll see along the top of the menu that those are available. And the final point in this screencast is going to be about displaying and customizing the toolbars. So perhaps we'd like to make a tab along the top of our own. So our own tab with our own groups in it. If we go to the File and Options window and back again to Customizing the ribbon, and this time I'm going to look at the Customize options at the bottom here. I'm going to create a new tab. I'm going to rename it and give it my name. And it's turned on, so we'll be able to see it. And in there we're going to create a group, and in the group I'm going to give it the name Useful Commands. Okay. And now the Useful Commands group will be created, but it's going to be empty, so I have to add in some commands that I like to have in there. So I'm going to put in a couple of examples. The copy command has been added in. Find, to find a word, any particular word in the document. I'm going to put in the paste command, and all of these commands will appear in the Useful Commands group on the Rhina tab. I think that's enough now, so we'll say OK to that, and you'll see the Rhina tab has been created. It's got the group Useful Commands, and the 3 items that I've put in are available, or 3 commands are available on that tab. If I wanted to get rid of it, back to the File menu, back into Options, into my Customize ribbon, and I can choose to either reset the toolbar, I can remove the whole tab, and it will be back to normal. It disappears. Okay, thank you for listening to the screencast, and if you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to ask.